Hello, jolly good evening. If you're here, please let me know you are here. Please let me know I'm not alone. I need to be sure I'm not talking to myself. So if you're here with me this evening, kindly say something in the comment section. It's day 2 of the Fluent Speech Annual Conference 2020. And I am super delighted. I am so excited. So if you are here, please let me know that you are here. Say something in the comment section. Say something in the comment section. As you join me, I welcome you. And I expect you to say something in the comment section for me to be sure I'm not talking to myself. I need you to let me know I'm not talking to myself. So if you're here with me, please say something in the comment section. If you're here with me, please say something in the comment section. Please say something. Miss Ibinabo, please check your chat. Okay, Miss Ekaite. Jolly good evening. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I guess you were the first person who joined yesterday as well. Are you? If you are, let me know. I think you deserve a gift. Okay, we need more people. I don't want to talk to myself. And while we await a moderator and our guest to join me, please let me know your name and where you are watching us from. Tell me your name and where you are watching us from. Mr. Kaite, tell me where are you watching us from? Just say something in the chat room or in the comment section. Jolly good evening. I am watching from Ibadan, or I am watching from Port Harcourt, or I am watching from Liverpool. Tell me where you are watching us from. You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, we're waiting for our guest, and I just want to be sure we have quite a number of people online. Let's say about 3 of them. We have just one yet. So once we are about 3, we can kickstart. To be we're not talking to ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're online, please let us know you're online. Just say anything in the chat room. Just tell us where you are watching us from. Okay, Mr. Kaite. Kaite. Oh, yes, I'm watching from Akwa Ibom State. Okay, let me hear you say that again, Miss Binabo.
Ekaite Opong. Ekaite Abadie. That is how are you in Ibibio. That's how they say how are you in Ibibio.
Oh, seriously? So,
Yeah.
so a name means fine. Is that what you're saying?
No, her name is Ekaite. I mean, I was asking her Abadie. That is how are you in
Okay, about yeah, I'm learning. What language is that? Is that
That's
Benin,
Ibibio.
Ibibia? Oh, interesting. Nigeria with Lots of language. Okay, we have three persons already. We have, can you please take charge, Miss Ibinabo?
All right, ma'am, we have Olga Friday. He says, "Hi, I'm watching from Ekiti State. Hello, good to have you here." And we have Bola Olaide online. So, ma'am, would you go over the tips again? For yesterday, you gave us just two. You said we should practice, and keep practicing. And you also said don't get intimidated. So I'll wait for our speaker. I think you should go over the
Okay,
tips again.
okay. To everyone online, I apologize for this. She's still on her way. And if any of you stays in Lagos, you should have a feel, or you should have felt how Lagos Road can be sometimes. She tried her possible best to be here on time, but I think it's just out of her control right now. So I believe she will join us very soon. So while we are waiting for her, I want to keep us busy. I actually intended to tell you to ask questions, but since my moderator wanted me to just finish up with the tips I started yesterday, so I will just do that. So yesterday, um, before our facilitator joined us, we started a series on tips that will help you make this moment worthwhile, so that after this session, it doesn't just feel like nothing happened or no transformation has occurred. And yesterday I talked about two out of those tips. And the first I talked about was practicing. Stated yesterday, if you follow me so closely online, you will know that I tell people to keep practicing. To me, it is very, very important. Keep practicing. That is something you cannot take away if you really want to speak right. If one of your goal is to sound better, then you need to keep practicing. Yesterday, I also mentioned that you should be open-minded, and I narrated few stories, and that is as well very important because I said that this class will expose you to some things that you don't know before, as well as changing some of the things you already know for years, and you will just feel like, where is this coming from? Sometimes people would ask me questions like, when did they change it? And seriously, no one changed it. It's been like that, but because that was what we were taught. And of course, those that taught us didn't know better. If they had known better, they would have given us the right information. And that's why we, the elocutionists, semantics, grammar, um, grammar, and all of that, that's why we're here to help you. So today I will share my third tip, and that is never, ever, ever, ever argue with people or feel someone is wrong. When it comes to language, never say that someone is wrong, or never argue and say, what's this? You're saying rubbish, or no, I've always known it for this way, and I have to continue, or I think you're wrong because my teacher told me when I was in year one that it's this way. So please never ever argue or feel someone is wrong when it comes to language because of its dynamism, especially English. So in the course of this class, you might hear something that is an opposite of what you have always known. Maybe a pronunciation, maybe a word usage, grammar, vocabulary, whatever it is. Never ever feel the person is wrong. All I urge you to do is quickly go do your research. So instead of saying you're wrong, instead of condemning someone, instead of reiterating, just go ahead and do your research. Where can you check? Where can you carry out your research? You can do that on your phone. Thank God for the Google Streets. In fact, not just a street, but a community, a village. So I don't think there is something when it comes to knowledge on earth that it's not on Google. Someone somewhere has updated it there and has placed it there. So just go on Google to check. Another place where you can check or where you can research is to check your dictionary. I call that the English Bible. And if you are a Muslim like I am, it is the English Quran. So if you really want to improve your spoken English and even written English communication skill, then you should have an English dictionary. Just like the way a lawyer will have a dictionary, same way a doctor will have a dictionary that he or she can always run to whenever he feels, okay, I need to check this, I need to read more on this, and all of that. So basically work with my dictionary and my Google. Now there are other places you can check. There, I wouldn't mind that. Now the fourth tip I will mention this evening, or no, the second, though considering the service it's the fourth, but for this evening it's the second. So the second tip I will mention is for you to have some resources that you will continue to learn from after this class. Now remember that my first tip is practicing. Now, hello? Hello, please, if you can still hear me, let me know. I'm not sure you can still hear me. If you can still hear me, please let me know in the chat room. If you can hear me perfectly, please let me know in the chat room. Please let me know in the comment section. If you can hear me, please let me know. It seems like I'm alone here. If I'm not alone, please let me know. If I am not alone, let me know. I need to be sure I'm not talking to myself. Fala Olaide, are you still here? Friday, are you still here? Akaite Upong. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you still here? I just need to be sure I'm not talking to myself.
Yeah, here, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for the feedback. Okay, so I was saying that the second tip I will share with you this evening, was the second? Yes. The second tip I will share with you this evening is for you to have other resources you can practice with. At first, I mentioned that you should practice. Yes, that is very important. And when I say you should practice, I'm not just saying practicing by talking to people in English or practicing with the new word you have learned or practice with the new way of using a word or using a preposition or whatever it is you have learned. For example, someone sent a voice note to me yesterday after the session, and she was talking with a rising and falling tone, and she was like, this is what I learned. That is so beautiful. But that is not all that there is when it comes to practicing. There are other ways you can practice. So one of it is you getting other resources that will cover or that will back up or take you a step further to what you have learned. So for example, yesterday you learned about how to make the perfect first impression. Now, you learned quite a number of things. You learned that you should use your engaging tone. You learned that you should not speak so fast and all of that. That is very good. So what other things can you do, or what other resources can you get to help you to continue or to help you to upgrade what you had learned yesterday? One of the things you can do, one of the resources you can get is by following the facilitators. Yesterday, I told our facilitator to share her social media handle. Now, why did I do that? The first reason why I did that is so that you can follow her on social media and get a whole lot of other things that can help you to create a first impression that we call or we can call as a perfect first impression. So all she said yesterday is not all that there is to know, or it is not all that you need to put to make your first impression a good one or a perfect one. There is a whole lot of things she could not share due to the time frame and some other parameters. So for you to keep practicing and for you to keep improving and transforming, you want to keep working on the information she shared with you, and as well you want to follow her on social media so that you can get more information you can practice with, and as well more information she didn't share yesterday that you can start using. So for all other speakers, they will be sharing their social media handles. Some of them would also share with you some offers that they have, be it an online course, maybe a membership group or something. It could even be a free WhatsApp platform where they educate people from time to time. So you being on such platform will help you to practice with like-minded people and as well to get loads of other information. So these are the two tips I have for you this evening. Remember, the first was, who can tell me? Who can tell me my first tip? I want to be sure you were all following. Friday, what's my first tip? Can you remember? Akaite, Fola Allah, Olaide. My first tip was, who can tell me? What was my first tip? What was my first tip? Who can tell me? I like us to be engaging. So it shouldn't just be more like a lecture room in the university hall. Uh-oh. Nobody? Madretha, I think no one wants to tell me. Doesn't mean no one was here while I was sharing the first tip. Is that what it means? Okay. I would mention that again. I want to believe that maybe something happened, and oh, thank you. Ekaite is here to rescue everyone. Okay, she said that never argue or feel someone is wrong. Yes. Yes, even on social media, apart from this class, even on social media, when someone tells you don't say shut up your mouth. Say shut your mouth. Fine, don't
No,
argue.
they are here.
When if the best you can do is to just ask him or her, okay, can you please expand shade? Or you go back for your research. Remember, English is a language, and all language have their characteristics, and one of it is their dynamicity. Very good. Okay. So we also talked about the second one, and the second one is for you to follow all of the facilitators that will be on this platform. You follow them on your social media handle so you can learn from them and you can keep transforming yourself and improving on the knowledge you got from this conference. So these are my two tips for this evening. Remember, I'm the convener. I'm not meant to teach on this platform. I'm only doing this to keep us busy. So right about now, I will have to stop here and let's just move over to a question and answer session. Since my guest is not here, let's just move to question and answer. Please, do you have any question on pronunciation? My own focus or my area of strength when it comes to the English language is pronunciation. So if you have any question on pronunciation, you can please post them or send them in the comment section while we wait for our guest. We're still waiting for her, and I believe she should be here as soon as possible. Um, she's meant to join us for 5:30, but I think it's almost 5:50. Oh, it's 6 p.m. already. Seriously? So please, if you have any question, can you please send them in? Questions on pronunciation, diction, questions on diction, on how you sound, on pronunciation, on social etiquette. I can answer them. I can provide answers to your questions. So I am here waiting for your question. I am here waiting for your questions. I'm here waiting for your questions. Now, while you're sending your question, let me share with you what happened to me last night. Last night after the conference, last night the second facilitator was not able to join us, and that was because she struggled a lot with our network connection. She tried her possible best to make this happen, but yet it was something she had little or no control over, so she couldn't join us. So at about 8:30, I had to inform her that okay, we need to reschedule this because it's late already, and I believe no one will want to come to class by 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. So she will be here on Sunday by 3 p.m. That is in the afternoon. So after a session, I felt so tired. I don't know, because at the beginning, the first speaker as well didn't join us very late, and I didn't prepare to teach, as I said earlier, because I am the convener, so I did not prepare to teach. So while I saw that nothing was happening, I had to quickly do something. That was why I shared with you 2 tips yesterday. And because of the tension and yes, the tension, that's just the word. The tension of yesterday, I felt so tired after the old program, after the old thing. So I was just on my bed watching a movie. And while I was watching the movie, I learned quite a number of words. But one of them stood out for me, and that is reconciliation. One of the actors in that movie pronounced that word as reconciliation. And you know something, before now, I've heard people say reconciliation. I've heard people say reconciliation. I've even heard someone say reconciliation. Of course, I've told you English is so dynamic. So immediately I heard her say that I had to write it down in my book. I have a book where I write new words. You can also do this, where I write new words. Maybe when I'm on transit, or I'm watching a movie, or I'm listening to music, and I hear a word that is quite different from the way I've always known it, or the way I pronounce it. I want to quickly check to see if I have been pronouncing that word wrongly, I have been using the word wrongly, and perhaps if the meaning is to what I used to know it out as. So most times I usually have my dictionary with me everywhere I go. Remember, I said it's the English Bible as well as the English Korean. So yesterday, I quickly had to go on Google. I wasn't with my dictionary, so I had to quickly go on Google to check. And guess what I found? Remember, I've heard someone say reconciliation. I've heard someone say reconciliation. I've heard someone say relation. And guess what I found? I found out that reconciliation and reconciliation is right. according to Google. So when it comes to English, as I said earlier, never, ever, ever argue with someone. Don't do that. Don't argue. Don't argue with people. All you want to do is you want to go find out, okay, is this right? Is this wrong? Most times, English words can have more than one pronunciation. Sometimes you can have a word in English that can be pronounced differently. You can pronounce it like 5 different ways, 3 different ways, 2 different ways. It depends. So, same with grammar and vocabulary. So, because a word or a phrase means something, doesn't mean that is the only meaning. It might have other meanings, it might have other usage. So, when you hear someone, a friend, your pastor, your alpha, your colleague, whoever, when you hear them use a word differently or pronounce a word differently, you want to go check. You want to go check your dictionary. You want to go check Google. You want to ask people. You want to do your research to be sure that, okay, am I right? The way I pronounce it is right. Then the way whoever you heard pronounce the word, did he or she also pronounced it rightly or wrongly? So that the next time you hear someone say that word wrongly, you would know, okay, this is the wrong pronunciation and this is the right pronunciation. So it is very important. Just like the very first day, I heard the second speaker, yes, the second speaker we will be having today. The very first day, I heard him pronounce the word Tuesday, Tuesday, instead of Tuesday. It said Tuesday, and I'm like, seriously? Is this French? And I checked. I found out that wow, you can decide to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and all of the DD. And you can also decide to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all of that. So please never ever argue with people. That still brings us back to my first tip. Never ever argue with someone or whatever it is. If you have an opinion about it, you can chat them up privately, but make sure you have research first to be sure you are saying the right thing. Okay, so any question? I haven't seen any question. If you're just joining us, Kafilat Adeleko, it feels good to have you here. Oh, thank you, Kafilat. Rebecca says practice, practice, practice. Oh yes, practice, practice, practice. We talked about that yesterday. You're welcome as well. So right about now, we're supposed to have a speaker here, but she's not available. I believe she will join us soon. But I'm trying to keep you busy so that our session does not just go down the road like that. So please, if you have any question, let me answer your question. If you have any question, I'm here to answer your question. Remember, questions especially on pronunciation, diction, and social etiquette, social polish. So if you have any question, please send your question. I look forward to your questions. Please send your questions. If you have any questions, please send them in. I'm right here to answer them while we wait for Miss Abimbola Wisdom Oshodi. If you have any question, let me know. If you have any question, let me know. Ekaite, do you have any question? You can send in your questions. Friday, please send in your questions. Ekaite, please send in your question. Rebecca, you can send in your question. And Adelekon Kafilat, please send in your questions. I'm here to answer your questions before our speaker joins us. Please send in your questions. Send in your questions. We are here Send in your questions. I hope I'm not alone. I hope I'm not alone. If you're here, please let me know. If you are here, please let me know. Friday, I used to hear. For La or Day, I used to hear. Morgan. Ekaite, I used to hear. Regain. For La or Day, I used to hear. Kafilat, I used to hear. Rebecca, I used to hear. Okay, Ekaite, thank you so very much. Thank you. Okay, she said that I would like to know the difference between the right or wrong diction. Okay, if I get your question well, you would like to know the difference between the difference of you speaking rightly and wrongly. Is that what it is? Okay, I didn't really get that question. However, I will answer that question by telling you first what diction is. Then I believe if you know what diction is, you should be able to say when someone is talking with the right diction, with the proper diction, or with the wrong diction. What exactly is diction? Now that word has different meaning. Now, when you ask Google, you can see things like diction is the choice of words. That means the choice of words, the type of words you use when you're writing or when you're talking. So, for example, when we talk about choice of words, for a teacher, as a teacher, when you're teaching younger children, there are this set of words you would use. And when you're teaching older persons or older people, there are also the set of words you will use. So the right choice of words, that's one meaning of diction. Another meaning of what diction is your ability to speak distinctively, your ability to speak whatever language, not just the English language now. Remember, we have lots of language. So it could be Yoruba language, it could be Arabic, it could be French, whatever language. So when we say you're speaking a language with the proper diction or with the right diction, that means you are speaking the language distinctively, properly. You're speaking it with the right articulation. You're speaking it with the right pronunciation. That is just what diction means in the layman's language. I don't want to use big grammar. That is what it means in the layman's language. Now, most times you hear people say, don't speak in the wrong diction, speak with the right diction. What I mean by that is, remember we said you speaking distinctively. Now, when we say distinctively, that means you can decide to speak in a particular way that to you it is distinct enough. It is not conforming to the English language or to English as a language. So when you speak English as a language, the way it should be spoken, then we say you are speaking with the proper diction. Now, to speak with the proper diction, there are quite a number of things you need to put into consideration. And one of it, and which is quite important, is your pronunciation. Your grammar can also or will also make you speak with the right diction, and then your vocabulary. I tell people when you speak with the perfect or a good diction in terms of pronunciation and your grammar and vocabulary, especially your grammar, and your grammar is not to date, I wouldn't want to say poor grammar. So, and your grammar does not or is not with the standard of your pronunciation, then you are doing yourself a disservice. So you want to be able to blend, or you want to be able to use your pronunciation, your grammar, and of course your vocabulary rightly, distinctively, before we would say you're speaking with the right diction. So I think I have answered your question. If I have, please let me know. Miss or Mrs. Ekaite, has that answered your question? I didn't get your question right. I just had to try to say all of that to see if that will answer your question. So please let me know if I have answered your question or if that has given you the answer you require or you expect. Okay, I have more questions. So the next question said, this is from Benny Mary. Mary says, for someone who is not so fluent in speaking English and has no courage, where do we start? That's a very good question. I'd like to start by saying that fluency is different from eloquency. Speaking fluent doesn't mean you're speaking with the proper diction, or doesn't mean you are speaking with the right diction. So don't let us get it twisted here. But I'll focus on your question anyway. Okay, that means you want to be fluent because you're not fluent and you have no courage. Where do you start? I will say that you need to start from getting your courage. Wherever you had dropped it, or whatever had happened that made you lost it, that made you drop it somewhere, please return there and go get it. Go pick up your courage again and wear it. Yes, I tell people courage is something we wear. I remember while I was growing up, in fact, even before I knew I would be a public figure, before I knew I would be a celebrity, because I am a celebrity. It's not just Whiskey, Davido, and the likes that are celebrity. I am a celebrity. So even before I realized what I wanted to be out of life, I'd always read in books and I had always known that courage is not the ability of having the capacity not to fail. So you having courage doesn't mean you will not fail. It doesn't mean you will not do something wrong. It doesn't mean you won't do things wrongly. It is just you daring. That word, daring. So Mary, you need to start daring. Don't wait till you're fluent in speaking English. Now, let me use an example. Most people that want to learn a language, especially adults that are trying to learn a new language, maybe you're trying to learn Ibibio or you're trying to learn Hausa or Arabic. Most times, what you do is you learn a word and you start using it. You learn a word, maybe you learn a word like zo, and you keep using that almost every day. When you see someone who speaks Hausa, you want to tell that person zo, or any other language. So that one word you've learned, you're not waiting till you're fluent. You just want to play around it. You want to talk to people who speaks that language, and you want to make them feel that you also speak that language. Remember, you are not yet fluent. So please, the first thing you should do, Mary, or where you should start from, is to go get your courage back. Get your courage somewhere. I don't know how you want to do that. Get your courage. And dear, do not wait. Remember, do not wait to be fluent. Fluent sometimes, it's a talent for some people. For some people, it's a gift. You see them, they're so fluent in any language or in whatever language they feel they want to work with. They speak it so fluently, effortlessly. While to some people, they need to work. Now, whether you get it as a talent or you want to work towards you being a fluent speaker, it is doable. The only difference is that for someone who has it as a talent, he or she will do it more effortlessly, and also he or she will be able to do that on time or in time. But for you, you need to keep working on it. You need to keep working on it. You need to keep working on it. I can keep saying that. You just need to keep working on it. Keep striving to be fluent. Keep working on it. Keep working on it. And with time, you will become a fluent speaker, be it English or any other language. So Miss Mary, go get your courage back. And dear, don't wait till you're fluent. Keep working on it. Keep using it. I hope I have answered your question, Miss Mary. Okay. Another question for. Okay, the next question says, do we necessarily need to attain the height of having a British accent before we say we are fluent with the speaking of English language? No, 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 no. Remember, while I was trying to answer Mary's question, I mentioned that being fluent is not the same as being eloquent, or it's not the same as speaking with the proper diction. So I said that I don't want to talk about the difference, but because of this question, I will have to just say something about that. Now, because you're fluent does not mean you are speaking with a British accent, or you are eloquent, or you are speaking with the proper diction. There are four types of speakers. There are four types of speakers. We have the fluent speakers, and we also have the eloquent speakers, amongst others. Now, the fluent speakers are those that speak English effortlessly. It doesn't mean that they are pronouncing their words well. It doesn't mean that they're using all of their grammar accurately. Of course, the most common one are the ones people would see they use them so perfectly. What do I mean by that? There are some mistakes that people make, and you're like, oh, she just made a blunder. That's rubbish. And there are some mistakes that even when someone tells you you just made a mistake, you'll be like, are you for real? I've known this for years. And even professors, they say it this way. English lecturers, they say it this way. Diction instructors, they say it this way. So if you are a fluent speaker, you might not be making mistakes, or those commonly everyday mistakes. You might not be making them, but yet your grammar. So you might be one of those people that feels that when you say reason why, it's a tautology. And believe me, reason why is not a tautology. And should in case is a tautology. I agree with that. We're not here for that this evening. So people like that are fluent. Now to the eloquent speakers. The eloquent speakers are those speakers that pronounces their words well. Their grammar is on point, and their vocabulary is also on point. Now, I'm not talking about perfectionism here. It's not about perfectionism. I tell people, accuracy first. Clarity first before accuracy. So if you're clear and to some point you are accurate, then we can say you are eloquent. Now, when you are eloquent, then you're speaking with the proper diction. But that does not mean you have a British accent. Now, there is a difference between accent and diction or pronunciation. It's not the same. Now, if you listen to me talk I try my possible best to use my Nigerian accent. Because for me, I'm a Nigerian and I'm not, I don't, it's not in my plans to say one day I want to change or I want to go for, I want to have another, or I want to naturalize myself in another country. No. So I am a Nigerian right now and I want to portray the Nigerianness, if there is a word like that. So having a British accent has nothing to do with you speaking eloquent or with you speaking in the proper diction. In fact, while you're trying to have an accent, you know what happens? At some point, you will be lost and you will not even speak well. That is what happens most of the time. I'm not trying to talk you out of trying to get the British accent. It's fine. But most times, people see it as fake. Even the British, when they hear you, they see you like, oh, where's she coming from? She's not a part of us. So to speak diction or to speak with the proper diction or to speak with eloquence is you being able to speak the language the same way, no, to speak the language the way the language is meant to be spoken, not using a particular accent. Now, looking at English as a language, we have lots of accents. Even in the British, in Britain, we have lots of British accents. So when you talk about British accent, which of the British accent are you talking about? Are you talking about the Wales? Are you talking about the Scottish? So you ask him in the question, do we necessarily need to attain the height of having a British accent? My first question to you should be, what British accent? Is it a Scottish? Is it this? Is it Wales? I don't know if you get me. So for you to speak English properly, eloquently, it's not about the accent. Just like the way we have different accents in Nigeria. In British or in Britain, they have different accents as well. In America, they have different accents. In Canada, different accents. So don't confuse yourself about this whole thing. That is why for me in my academy, I don't teach accent. Now, another thing I want to ask is Kafilat Adelekon to speak English well. In as much as you don't want to sound British, there are still some accent, our own accent you need to take off. For example, some of us speak English with the Yoruba accent. That is wrong. By adding the H factor, or when you hear some people speak Yoruba, you can speak English rather. You can easily say, "Oh, this person is a Ibadan man," or "This person is from Ibibio," or "This person is from Benin City." That's not what I'm saying. That is bad. When you do like that, you won't be eloquent. You won't be an eloquent speaker. So try as much as possible to take away those I call them native filters, so that when you speak English, you speak using the received pronunciation, the neutral accent that everyone can hear. So I believe I have answered your question, Miss Kapilat Adeleko. I tried as much as possible not to over talk because we have a time frame. Once is 6:30, then we need to end the session because we have another session for 7 p.m. Okay, I think we have more questions. And here's another question. For someone who is not so fluent in speaking English, I cannot see this clearly. Can you please help me, the moderator? I struggled with reading. Moderator,
For someone who is not fluent in speaking English, stutters and has no courage to face the audience due to this, that's where I can see and
okay, where do we Okay, I think I have answered this question. I have. Thank you, moderator. I have answered this question. Remember, get your courage back and start speaking. Don't
No, ma'am,
wait for your
that
turn.
question was different. That question was different.
I
That
think it
question
was
was
them. It was different, right? Okay, this question is for someone who is not fluent,
in speaking and
stutters,
stutters.
and has no courage. It's almost the same. Okay, if you have no courage to face the audience, you might need to. Excuse me, I need water. I don't have my water close. You might need to attend a public speaking class. However, let me give you a tip that can help you. See your audience as people who are here to learn from you. See them as your friend. See them as your colleague. See them as just be friendly with them. They would not bite you. They didn't have fire on their head. So see them as your friend. See them as your colleague. This is what I do. Whenever I'm going for anything that has to do with audience, I get prepared. As I said at the beginning, I didn't prepare to teach here. Seriously, I did not prepare to teach for this conference. But because this is something I've been doing, so somehow God just gave me that topic to start with yesterday. Excuse me, please.
Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, my water is finished.
Sir. Oh, sorry.
Excuse me for that. Thank you so much. So, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're prepared and sometimes be friendly with your audience. See them as your friend. Once you see them as your friend, you will not be afraid to face them. There are lots of tips I can give you, but because we don't have time, but basically, prepare and see your audience as your friend. Laugh, smile to them. When you smile, they will smile in return. And when they smile in return, you feel better. And once you are prepared, that means you would give value.
All right.
And once you give value, they would have no reason to shut you off or make you feel bad. So work with your courage to face your audience. If you're able to do that, everything will be fine. Okay, I have less than 5 minutes. I might not be able to answer all of your questions. Moderator, please the next question.
There's no question here, ma'am, but I'd like to add to that.
Okay.
There's something we did while we were kids. Whenever we had a presentation, we actually did it at home first. We practiced at home first with our parents to find out if we made any errors and all that, if there were necessary adjustments that needs to be made. So I think the person should do likewise. Get some people and talk to them first, see your performance, and just go out knowing that you can do great with your
Seriously.
audience.
That's a very good one, Miss Imina, but that still boils down to preparing. As I said, there are lots of ways you can do that, but because we don't have the time, so thank you so much for your input, ma'am.
Thank you too, ma'am, for the opportunity. All right, before we go for our break, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. It's very important you subscribe because we'll be giving you lots and lots of information after this conference. So right about now, we're going for a break and we'll be back by 6:59. It would be wrong to keep our speaker waiting. So we will see you at 6:59. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so very much, everyone. I appreciate you, and I hope this session is worth your while. If it is worth your while, please let me know in the comments before you leave. Before we end the live session, please let me know if this is worth your while. If this
Okay,
is
ma'am.
worth your while,
I think we still have someone that doesn't want to go on break. Someone is asking, how do you correct R factor?
do we have time for that? Okay, while you're sending in your comments, if you got value, let me quickly answer that. For the R factor, one of the reasons why some of us have R factor is because we want to sound like the American. Or maybe you've been watching too much of American movie. So if you would like to speak like the Americans, then believe me, you cannot have the R factor because the language is a rhotic language. So if you want to sound like them, you have no challenge with the R factor. Just keep at it. Keep using it. Keep using it. Keep using it. The Lord is your strength. Now, if you want to sound more like the British, I'm not talking about accent here, please. If you want to sound more like the British, then you need to know when and when not to use it. So how to correct it is first, know when and when not to use it. Then once you know when to use it and when not to use it, then be conscious. So once I know that when I want to pronounce the word C-A-R, I will say car and not car. Then I will be very conscious so that whenever I want to pronounce the word car, I don't say car. So know when to use it, when not to use it, and of course, be very conscious of it. So let me know if that has answered your question for Olaide. And please, I hope you got value. Let me know if you got value. Kapilat Adelekon, did you get value? Ekaite,
Yeah, we have
did you get
someone. Khalifat says, yes, it was. I got to know the difference between a fluent and an eloquent speaker. She says, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, Kafilat. So, Falalabi, did you got value? Is this worth your time? Mary, is this worth your time?
Ekaite says, thank you. Value added. Thank you
Okay.
so much. So we won't want to take much of your time because we need you here by 6:59. So you can go stretch, drink water, take a you can eat, you can do what you want to do. It's break time. Oh, I don't have a bell. Would have done I would rang my bell. All right, then we'll see you all by 6:59. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so graciously.
Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.